Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I am going to share with you some information that ties everything together. Cryptids, biblical, chimera, Nephilim, all of it. Aliens, it all gets tied together. Some information was shared with me last night by a gentleman who shared with me quite a bit of information on Dulce and the kind of reptilian case file that I had gone over a couple of months back. This is truly amazing, and I look forward to sharing it with you all. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to today's upload, shall we? So a couple years ago, those of you who have been with the channel for a while know about a retired Air Force intelligence officer who shared a whole slew of information about Dulce and everything. It's all in this. Everything, every email he shared, I printed out, and I've since shared it with you all. Last night he contacted me and said, I've got something that I want to share with you. You are on the right path, but there's a lot more that needs to be shared. You're skimming the surface. And we talk about deep underground military bases, excuse me, in these tunnel systems and such. But we only talk about Dulce, Taos, Los Alamos, and a few others. But there is a worldwide subterranean world, and it is classified by the government Project Redbook. And I'm going to share with you a lot of crazy information right now. This information, I had something completely different planned for today. But when I got this, I was like, this needs to come out today. And he warned me. He said, Jeff, be careful sharing this. There's not a lot of people that talk about this on YouTube. There's not a lot of people that talk about it at all. And I said, okay. Thank you. Here it is. So, Project Redbook is a grouping of worldwide subterranean facilities. First and foremost, it starts right from the very beginning, A, and we'll work our way all the way to the end of the alphabet, which is kind of interesting how our government lists everything, A to B to C to D, and they're very passionate about their ABCs. Antarctica. An ancient high-tech city nicknamed Rainbow City, was reportedly discovered by a small group of American researchers in the late 40s. Reportedly, an on-site staff of 2,000 was later stationed there to study the ancient mechanical devices, the operation of time-space portals, holographic records, and an ancient underground rail system, with Rainbow City being the central hub. Anti-gravity craft are also reportedly being used by the researchers. Antarctica, New Schwabenland. Reports of a massive joint Nazi alien base or network called New Berlin facility beneath the mountains of New Schwabenland, Queen Maudland, Antarctica, constructed by Nazi Ultra forces. Ultra is also the name of the Dulce, New Mexico facility, which also maintains strong Bavarian connections. As in World War II, or World War I, World War II, the Philadelphia Project, and the current intelligence war between the anti-Gray, Com-12, Cabal forces of the Navy intelligence, and the pro-Gray, Magi Aquarius forces backed by the Nazi NSA intelligence. Naval intelligence once again battled Nazi intelligence during Operation High Jump in the 50s under the command of Navy Admiral Richard E. Byrd and 4,000 elite naval troops. Under the cover of a scientific expedition with a massive military armada which made an all-out assault on the Nazi Antarctic battalions. The conflict ended in a stalemate with losses on both sides. New Berlin base, like the Dulce, New Mexico facility, and Pine Gap in Australia facility is tied with an alliance of regressive alien forces, the Draco of Alpha Draconian, Gray of Regal Orion, and the Aryan Ashtar forces of Sirius B, based within the massive Kamagal facility under Giza in Egypt, who are in turn allied with more of their kind within 3 asteroid ships, which came into the system, hiding in Comet Hale-Bopp's tail, and Jump Ship as the comet rounded the sun, taking the orbit around Mercury. Also joint Bavarian alien Alt-3 facilities on Luna and Mars. And also a vast draconian Regalian Sirius B Armada, which is now en route to planet Earth and due to arrive, it's already arrived in 2004, to help enforce the New World Order, which they intend to annex to the Central Draco Empire on Typhoon, Alpha Draconians. In the Fourth Reich, Antarcticans have been told that they will be given 25% of the planet for their part in selling us out. The NWO could only be implemented via human-alien collaboration, the Fourth Reich of Bavaria acquiring the alien Montauk mind control technology, and the Alien Alliance acquiring fifth column access to our 3D society, and that the Fourth Reich, Bavarian Illuminati, Bavarian Thal, Bavarian Nazi societies can and will offer to the aliens. Arabia Badari, caverns beneath the temple of Sheikh Adai on Mount Lesh or Lalesh, and within walking distance of Badari, used by the Yazidi devil worshippers for occult rituals, and also hints of sacrificial altar within one of the immense caverns through which flow a subterranean river. Argentina, South Georgia Island, a reported base that has been fought over by Russian, British, American, and Antarctic forces, presumably the real reason for the Falkland Island Wars. Arizona, the Black Mountain. Explorers investigating a cavern in the Black Mountain encounter a reptilian humanoid and experience missing time. I have that experience right here. Actually, there's two. There's two experiences that happened in Black Mountain. One is when a group of teenagers go into Black Mountain and they discover this like deep kind of chasm. They go into it. They get chased out by reptilians after hearing these loud, kind of very strange noises. One of the boys takes a staff with him. And later on in that night, these reptilians actually follow him to his house or hunt him down and take the staff. They don't hurt him. They don't cause him and his mother any kind of pain or whatnot. They just wanted their staff. And then these explorers, I do have that experience, but I want to keep going into this because it gets just really more interesting as we go. Arizona, Grand Canyon, caves near the confluence of the Colorado and Little Colorado rivers. Hopi legends say that their ancestors once lived underground with a friendly race of ant people, not to be confused with the sinister mantis people described by several abductees, but some of their kind turned to sorcery and made an alliance with lizard or serpent men known as the Two Hearts, which dwell in still deeper caverns. The flood of evil and violence forced the peaceful Hopi to the surface world. An explorer named G.E. Kincaid claimed to have found one of these ancient caves, in which were reportedly discovered Oriental, Egyptian, and South American type artifacts. Smithsonian archaeologist S.A. Jordan and associates also explored the man-made cavern with hundreds of rooms, enough to hold over 50,000 people. The underground city is about 42 miles upriver from El Tovar, Crystal Canyon, and Crystal Creek, and about 2,000 feet above the river bed on the east wall. John Rhodes, after 3 years of field research, reportedly discovered the Grand Canyon City, which is now being used as a museum for elitist groups and has lower levels that are being used by super secret Black Book operatives, which can only be entered via a stainless steel door at the bottom of the stairwell deep within the city. That is guarded by a very lonely soldier staring into the darkness, dressed in a white jumpsuit and armed only with an M16 or M4 assault rifle to ward off his imagination. Page, Arizona. Glen Canyon Dam, a major underground link between the Dulce base of New Mexico and Groom Lake base of Nevada, which had been jointly operated by military, industrialists, Greys, and Reptilians, an NSA alien facility which some suspect is partially powered by and entered via Lake Powell's Glen Canyon Hydroelectric Dam. That was revealed by Tom Castiello. I've talked about him. Amazing person. His family was abducted and brought to a deep underground military base shortly after the Dulce Wars, never to be seen again, and nor was he. Just very sad. Sedonia, Arizona. Reports of a joint operational underground city and facility under the Enchantment Resort in Boynton Canyon, where clone-like men in black have been seen, along with unusual electromagnetic vortex phenomenon. Superstitions, Arizona. Several people claim to have had experiences with all types of alien beings inhabiting underground levels below the superstitions. East of Phoenix, early reports speak of human dwarves inhabiting the caverns of the region, Although in the 20th century reports of reptilian and gray-type aliens has increased, some encounters involve white grays from epsilon boots, humanoid or reptilian daros in black hooded cloaks using abducted programmed humans above and below as mind slaves or worse. Reptilian humanoids with integrated human DNA abducting and doing various things to women, regressive underground scenarios. Cushman, Arkansas. Caverns west and west-northwest of the town are legendary for stories of deep cavern systems, encounters with hairy humanoids, dogmen, Bigfoot with an attitude, giant serpents and insects, deadly gas pockets, strange electromagnetic phenomenon, and unexplained disappearances. One of these is the Blowing Cave, which lies in a mining area northwest of Cushman and is located a quarter of a mile north of a road leading west of Cushman. One of the several caverns in the area, some of them possibly connecting at the deeper levels between the large entrance and an underground lake. Far back in the caves is a trail that winds through an area of rubble or breakdown. The trail is intersected by a crack in the earth between the entrance and the lake that, if followed into the breakdown, widens enough to enter. This chasm is reportedly an entrance to an endless network of alien underworld. Alice Springs, Australia. The Pine Gap. Multi-leveled underground facility maintained by the Club of Rome military-industrial complex is located near Alice Springs. Claims linked to the base include mind control military workers in upper levels, Greys and Dracos connected to Alpha Draco, Regal, Orion, and Sirius B in the lower levels, along with Nordic-like human captives. An operational connection to Dulce, New Mexico base. Several levels of computer mainframes connected to connected to other major computer mainframes all over the world. A potential electronic control center for the New World Order Incorporated, controlled by the Club of Rome, the Bilderberg Group, which is composed of 39 members at the core, 13 Maltese Jesuits, 13 Wiccan Masons, and 13 black nobility. A Mr. X claimed that at least 1/3 of this Illuminati are shape-shifting reptoids posing as humans via laser hologram devices attached to their belts. Kathy O'Brien claims that the Jesuit Lodge has been completely infiltrated by physical reptilian infiltrators, fifth dimension reptilian parasites using human host bodies, implanted clones, etc. Darwin, Australia. Norman Jensen, an experienced well driller, was boring for water 15 miles from the Killarney homestead, about 350 miles south of Darwin. He had penetrated 7 layers of limestone, clay, red soil, and sandstone when, at 102 feet, the butt struck something soft and quickly dropped to 111 feet. Jensen lowered the pump and brought to the surface a bucket of what he believed to be flesh, bone, hide, and hair. The matter had not putrefied even after several days in the open air. Dr. W.A. Langsford, Territory Director of Health in Darwin, stated that the material he studied under the microscope was hair and tissue, possibly human or Sasquatch or some other hairy humanoid. Cooktown, Australia. South of Cooktown, North Queensland, is the 1,000-foot tall black mountain, appearing as a huge pile of dark boulders 2 miles long. Natives avoid the mountain, as well as birds and other animals. 3 men with horses vanished years ago at the mountain, where chasms of unsounded depth penetrate the mountain, also known by the Aborigines as Kaljaga. 2 young men intent on solving earlier disappearances vanished, as well as 2 black trackers who tried to find them. The first recorded disappearance was that of a carrier named Grainer, who disappeared along with his horse and bullocks. 13 years later, a Constable Ryan disappeared after tracking a wanted man to the base of the mountain, and neither of them were seen again. Then a gold prospector named Wren vanished and could not be found by police teams who combed the area for weeks. Harry Owens, a station owner from Oakley Creek, disappeared at the mountain while searching for stray cattle, as did his partner George Hawkins, who went to search for him after alerting the police. 2 police trackers entered the caves, but only one came out, and he was so shaken by an experience that terrified him so much that he could give no clear account of what happened. 1 man armed with a revolver and an electric torch penetrated the cavern, one of which descended a narrow and deep within. It encountered bats and a sickly, musty stench. Then his torch went out. He crawled for 5 hours through stench-filled caverns, encountering deep and black chambers until he saw a distant light, which he climbed towards until he reached the surface. So one of the police officers never came out, and what he encountered was, I quickly looked it up because I wanted to see, and there's not much detail on it. What he encountered was a large 11 to 12 foot hairy creature that these 2 police officers, that smashed one of the police officers into a nearby wall of the cavern, and that sent the other police officer running. So he was attacked by something just absolutely huge but hairy. Now, we've heard in Dulce, Taos, and other areas that there had been large bipedal creatures lurking around, and they don't call them Sasquatch because they're not. They're something completely different. And these creatures that come out from the inner earth are 10 times more violent and aggressive than what is lurking in our woods up top, they say. No Labor Plains, Australia. The Labor Cave region in central South Australia has been a center of UFO sightings and also the site of a disappearance of cave explorers. UFOs have been seen entering and emerging from the ground, and one explorer escaped to tell a terrifying encounter with a 30-foot Saurian-like lizard within one cavern system. So this is what lurks with under, and we don't believe, or I believe, but there are people out there that don't believe that there are creatures lurking under the earth. These caverns, there's, the ancient Native Americans, the Aboriginals of Australia, if you look at their petroglyphs and hieroglyphs, they are describing something that are just creatures that are so large and so dangerous. How can it be ignored? The government has this project Redbook, and they're not ignoring it. They know this shit's out there and how dangerous it is. Luffer, Austria. 3 German tourists who entered a vast Lamprecht Cave near Luffer in the Salzburg mountain region, never found. Their automobile was left locked outside of the cave. In 1998, new parts of the cave were discovered connecting two cave systems and making the Lamper Soft, at the time, the deepest cave on Earth. Sorta, Bolivia. French Jesuit priest tells of his exploration of a San Pedro cave on Mount Elumpu near Lake Titicaca. Entered via a crawl space and opening out into a vast underground lake. The priest claimed to have rowed a small boat for hours until the cavern narrowed and gave way to a trail barred by an enormous gate of wrought iron with all of the characteristics of a 17th century Spanish ironwork. He could not penetrate beyond that barrier, so he turned back. 29 Palms Marine Base, California, underground facilities involved with recovered alien technology and research. Also, a geological anomaly in the area created by seawater rushing into underlying caverns when the area was underwater created a tunnel-like structure from which UFOs have been seen to emerge. Attempts of Army personnel to send cameras down resulted in the camera cables being cut, and attempts to send military spelunkers down on ropes resulted in explorers being exposed to noxious blue gas, which had apparently been released from below to prevent them from descending. That's via Valerian. Anaheim, California, November 3rd, 1989, radio show host Ken Hudnall announced his intention to take a group to visit an ancient underground city 60 miles from Anaheim. Bakersfield, California. 1972, Wanda Lockwood of Bakersfield reported that in 1970 she was playing with her son in his bedroom when what sounded like a large steel hammer struck the concrete basement floor 3 times. Her child Danny was so surprised that he began to cry, having heard similar noises several months earlier beneath her living room. Wanda was curious and put her ear to the bedroom floor, clearly heard the roar of machinery. She took a hammer and began to pound on the bedroom/floor in a 1-2-3, 1-2-3 manner until 5 minutes later, a being beneath the floor began to tap back the same 1-2-3, 1-2-3 manner. She could hear a series of noises and knocks, and then she faintly heard men talking to each other, but the voices were too muffled to understand. In the later months, she would again hear machinery when placing her ear to the floor, but never again the men's voice. Barstow, California. Camp Irwin reports of several tunnels below the Camp Irwin area, one of which is an abandoned mine, at the bottom of which is an earth crack, which leads to a tunnel that connects with massive underground river about a quarter of a mile wide. One of the least 5 subterranean rivers, which rise and fall with tide, suggesting the source origin being a large underground sea beneath the dry basin of Utah and Nevada. One of these reportedly runs below Cocoweef and Door Peaks near the southwest flank of the Ivanpah Mountains, northwest of Needles, California. These underground rivers are said to empty into the Pacific or the Gulf of California via large aqua caves near the base of the continental slope. Deep Springs, California. California's got a lot, which only makes sense because of all the stuff that we've heard out of this area. Deep Springs, due east of San Jose, and next to the California-Nevada border, is named after a small spring-fed lake. within which the government divers were reportedly discovered an underground river, which they followed for approximately 27 miles in the direction of Las Vegas. Although it is uncertain whether or how much of this is walkable, Deep Springs, according to an agent who is part of the secret CIA paramilitary force called Yellow Fruit, or YF, who are using the National Resource Defense Council as a front for the agency, and who are involved in an electromagnetic war with the benevolent ones, who have made aliens within Nevada's test site, who serve as advisors to intelligence agencies that are turning against the Greys as a result of betrayals of joint operational treaties. However, there are still intelligence agencies under alien control working at Nevada test site, and especially within the deeper underground levels. The benevolent ones and their allies essentially have gained the upper ground. However, the whole scenario is a mess and out of control, largely because of a military-industrial machine itself, which has become so compartmentalized and secretive, even to the exclusion of congressional oversight, that the true patriots don't have the freedom or backup to do much damage against their underground nemesis. Mainly because of the limitations imposed upon them by fraternal oaths, mental programming, and military security clearances. It is basically every man for himself until at least the public and Congress get involved and add their support to the patriots who are literally dying on the front lines in this battle with the alien nemesis, which has been infiltrated by to the very core of the military-industrial complex. Men in Black, by the way, have also been seen. Deep Springs support. Also, several standoffs allegedly exist throughout the world. The Deep Springs Nevada test site standoff, possibly the largest and most critical. Gravity anomaly map also suggests the existence of massive caverns beneath the area. Agent YF cited the following coordinates as locations of Deep Spring extension facilities, in most cases near the base of the mountains, near which portals to the underground installations. And then that was shared by John Lear. CADS, California. The late Earl Gambrell tells how he was transported by an alien craft one night from the outskirts of Barstow to an area just 2 miles northwest of Bonanza Springs, some 13 miles from CADS, and just south of the Clipper Mountain area. He found or was shown a cave or tunnel in the side of a hill near a natural rock arch and a peak which looks like it has a black railroad car on top. After considerable travel underground at a 30-degree descent, he reached an underground city with streets, houses filled with large crystals. Now abandoned, he also heard of another man who reportedly found a cave and told others about it, but who was killed shortly thereafter. China Lake, California. A woman named Diane claimed that she had numerous alien encounters since childhood. During one encounter, she had been taken to a joint alien military facility deep beneath the China Lake Naval Weapons Test Center via magnetic elevator to a huge facility where she observed numerous humans and animals in cages who had been biogenetically altered. Also, possible massive underground facilities beneath Argus and or southeast peaks northwest of Trana in the China Lake Reserve, Clear Lake, California, according to Robert K. Newkirk. Northern California's Clear Lake has many underground caverns leading under Mount Conasite that we know have no ends, and others that run to San Francisco Bay. Edwards Air Force Base, California. The Haystack Bluff or Butte near the launch area reportedly holds underground levels and surface pylons where pulse beams and stealth research is being carried out. Haystack Butte is reportedly the center hub of massive underground activity with underground connectors to other facilities. Witnesses have described alien activity there have died under mysterious circumstances. Also reports of 50-mile underground tube shuttle linking Edwards Air Force to the Tehachapi facility and an ongoing excavation below the base down past 9,000 feet, with an underground facility being monitored by hovering remote-controlled basketball-sized metallic spheres capable of electromagnetically monitoring the waves of base workers and visitors and thus anticipate their intents. El Paso Mountains below Iron Canyon and Gopher northwest of Garlock, over a dozen miles north of Mojave, California, near the El Paso Mountains, there have been reports of alien beings who control deadly machines which stalk the surface, especially near the Iron Canyon. At night, also reports of secret government monitoring activity and also a major electromagnetic vortex energy field in the area. Essex, California. Jack Mitchell, founder of Mitchell Caverns, 18 miles north of Essex, which is 28 miles west of Needles and 111 miles east of Barstow on Route 66, claimed that while exploring a shaft called the Cave of the Winding Stair in or near Mitchell Caverns, he was lowered down the ledge 500 feet to where he set fire to some gasoline-soaked socks with a rock in it and watched it disappear into the shaft without seeing it hit anything. Helendale, California, southwest of Barstow, a Lockheed facility known as the RCS, or Radar Cross Section Test Range, is also known as the Helendale facility, a massive underground base site, and COG, Continuity of Government facility located 6 miles north of Helendale Auxiliary Airport. Several underground openings, especially in the northern end. Also a 100-foot pylon for testing anti-gravity prototypes. Some of these pylons are retractable and rise from or sink into openings in the ground. Between Hopland and Lakeport, California, Edward John spoke of an area midway between the two cities in the area of Krishna Temple and somewhat south where the following was reported: space-time distortions, attempted attacks by alien creatures at night, an atmosphere of terror covering a 30-mile area, black automobiles disappearing into cliffs, strange voices in an unknown language coming out of thin air, cars mysteriously stalling and starting, rumors of a bottomless cave with a stone staircase leading downward, unexpected disappearances of the government vehicles along Hopland, Lakeport Road, and mysterious deaths among residents of the nearby valley. Also in 1990, magnetic survey identified a large gap in the magnetic field near Lakeport and Mount City, suggesting a large cavernous expanse below. June Lake, California. Jack Peterson reported an encounter near June Lake where he reportedly observed a small humanoid being exiting from a cone-shaped machine which had emerged from the depths of the earth and which disappeared in the earth after the alien had re-entered the craft. Lancaster, California. A collaboration between Northrop, McDonnell Douglas, and Lockheed is developing and testing anti-gravity air and/or spacecraft in massive underground facilities. Abductees report being taken to these elaborate multi-billion-dollar underground complexes where they have seen human military personnel working with gray, and in some cases, reptilians, glowing discs, triangular boomerangs, elongated shapes, spheres, and other types of anti-gravity that have been flying over or hovering over the area, as well as black unmarked helicopters. All right, we are about halfway done with California. Like I said in the beginning, California is huge. A lot of deep underground facilities. Landers, California. And this is really small. The file that he sent me was absolutely huge. It took me over 4 hours to download it to my computer. It's so large that to read this, I almost need bifocals, so I apologize. Landers, California, about a dozen miles north of Yucca Valley, is a giant rock thought to be the largest freestanding boulder in the world. It covers 5,800 square feet and is 7 stories high. It was used in ancient times for seances by Native American chiefs. Frank Kritzer was the first modern individual to excavate rooms from beneath the giant rock. According to Hank Craftsman, Frank stated that in the process of his excavations, he had stumbled onto some unusually glass-lined tunnels underground that went very deep. Kritzer hollowed out 400 square feet of rooms from under the north side. Deputies from Riverside County, Giant Rock is in San Bernardino County, during World War II tried to apprehend Frank for questioning as a possible German spy. There were several in the area at the time, but when Frank barricaded himself into his home, the deputies threw an anti-gas grenade, which ignited a pile of dynamite under his table that was used for excavation. The deep glass tunnels may have been buried during that explosion. Frank was killed. The newspapers held with the spy story, even though the FBI told George Van Tassel it was not true. George restored some of the rooms under the rock where he claimed to have had meetings with human ETs who claimed to be members of the Solar System Tribunal on one of the moons of Saturn. Van Tassel was instructed to build a domed integration near the giant rock, with the belief that the weight of the rock pressing down on the sand quartz below created electromagnetic field similar to one created by 7 feet above the apex of the giant pyramid, generated by the massive weight pressing down on the quartz-laden stones. After George passed away, the government blew up the underground chambers. Mount Lassen, California. Two young men reported the discovery of a glazed tunnel behind the outcropping of a rock about 7,500 feet in the slopes of Laysan. They explored the cavern using a strange tunnel vehicle and were captured by men dressed as surface people who were known as the Horlock, human under total mind control of some alien force, only to be rescued by an underground resistant force. Others have reported abductions near Laysan by human/reptilian collaboration. Llano, California, large McDonnell Douglas facility based in Old Gray Butte Airport, 6 miles southwest of El Mirage Dry Lake, 9 miles northeast of Llano, also contains pylons upon which various aerodynamic hulls are placed for stealth and other design type tests. Often the objects atop of the pylons have been seen to glow. LA, Los Angeles. There is 3 different pieces of LA. February 12th, 53. Witnesses observed an automobile enter the throat of a storm drain near Willow Brook and Greenleaf Ave. Police followed the fresh tire tracks into the tunnel for 7 miles, while other police and flood control workers continued to search by dropping through manhole covers. The search continued until midnight. Until 7 miles up the drain, the tracks vanished in the muddy silt covering the floor. The tire tread marks were sharp and fresh. There no more tracks. No more tracks, excuse me. LA, California, legendary underground city now flooded. This is one of these is, yes, this is it right here, I believe. No, the next one is. All right. LA, California, legendary underground city now flooded is said to lie below the Los Angeles Public Library and surrounding areas. Patterned after the shape of a lizard, the city is said to be connected to Mt Shasta and was built by an ancient race of revered reptilian. Although filled with gold, parts of the ancient city had become flooded. Los Angeles, California. In Old Spanish District, where Avenue 64 and New York Boulevard now lie, there used to be a ranch owned by Ralph Rogers, who had employed several Mexican and Chinese workers. In early 1900, Andrew C. Smith and Charles Eldar discovered a rumored tunnel entrance in the area and reported it to the local newspaper, whose editor confirmed their story, then explored the tunnel at some depth. They also learned from a Mexican elder of the Mexican elder, Native American village that existed on the banks of the Aurora Seco River. When the Spanish entered the area, this man, Juan Dominguez, had explored the tunnel leading to a gigantic cave and then still going further down, spreading under the entire village and connecting the Spanish Church of Los Angeles. One entrance is reportedly located the west bluff of Aurora Seco River, about 300 feet south of former Pasadena Avenue rail bridge, and about 20 feet above the stream, but the city blew up the entrance after children were hurt in the cave, and a freeway exists now in that area. However, a secret opening still exists in the basement of the Spanish church mentioned above. Earlier visitors in the cave had reported many caverns and tunnels going deep, hearing eerie voices. The cave is used by natives and ritual purposes. California, Mojave. Stories of an underground pits in shafts, some natural, others artificially mined shaft, leading to an underground cavern below Iron Canyon near El Paso. mountain northeast of Mojave. Reports of underground alien activity, automatons, and electromagnetic vortexes, all of which are carefully monitored by secret government agents. Damn, man, it just... They are just hiding everything from us. Oakville, California. Just east of San Rosa, there's a secret government facility that has been constructed near Oakville Grade, which will reportedly consolidate many of the COG operations of military and industrial. Palmdale, California, reports of a multi-layered technology center over 8 levels in depth and use and the size of a massive city. Many of the workers being synthetics and humans with ultra-top secret security clearances. Quincy, California. Cassette Willoughby tells of an experience that she and her husband Ken had been staying at a turnout 20 miles from Quincy in a heavily wooded area. They saw an old man with white hair, white shirt, dark trousers, who swung his head from side to side like a lizard as he walked. He then had a reptilian appearance and carried a very elaborate cane with the large ball curved to the top, with 4 cobras wound around the stick. When she tried to get his attention, the man ignored her, walking across the road from one patch of the woods to another. In the area where the turnout was, the closest sign of civilization. Oh, my eyes are killing me. Sorry, guys. For miles around. All right, so I'm just going to repeat that. So pretty much she's walking 20 miles from South Quincy, camping. She sees an old man with a very strange stick. Salton Sea, California. Mountains adjacent to the Salton Sea of South California have been the site of reports of subterranean rock slides and also legends concerning an ancient 7 caves of the Aztec, which some believe lie below the area. San Diego. The Antarctic submarine base reportedly maintains several underground tunnels and levels, 6 sub-level containing a terminal at the sub-shuttle travel system capable of subterraneous high-speed transit to other U.S. underground bases as far away as D.C. San Francisco, there's a report of demolition crew who, several years ago, broke into a subterranean tunnel while demolishing a building. Workers followed the tunnel for a while until they came face to face with a hair animal man whose eyes reflected light back at them with a reddish glow. So these guys actually, I know this story in San Francisco. They actually encountered what they encountered resembled a Dogman underground. And it was huge. Like, they had no idea what they were going to encounter. They're going down and they see these reddish eyes in the distance, and out walks from the darkness this gigantic Dogman-like creature. Tehachapi Mountains, California. Several accounts suggest that the military-industrial complex had entered into a collaboration with a parasitical alien race. In exchange for advanced technology, the industrialists have allowed the aliens to have access to the multi-trillion-dollar military-industrial underground network in order to carry out genetic experiments on Earth. Those who received the new Trojan horse technology also received major alien mind control programming. And as a result, the underground networks are quickly being assimilated by the alien collective, effectively controlling the minds of those Earth people who pose the greatest threat to alien imperialism. i.e., those who have access to interplanetary technology. Tehachapi is also called the anthill. There are open silos where laser light systems are tested, and hovering basketball-sized cosmodrome or spy bees monitor all activity above and below ground, where ground scrapers descend at least 2 miles and 42 sublevels connecting to other facilities via tunnels and mag-level shuttles, and also to more ancient alien cavern domains, natural and artificial, deep beneath the earth. There are also reportedly cloned humans with cybernetic minds and assimilated reptilian/alien DNA, which work in these facilities, known as the Orange because of their stocky yellowish or reddish hair, along with gray alien, reptoids, military-industrial black ops, and others. This site is also known as the Tejan or Tehachapi Ranch and is located at the mouth of Little Oak Canyon, about 25 miles northwest of Lancaster. It is partially powered by the Kern River Hydroelectric Project, where there is also a mountain that has been hollowed out. One can reportedly drive underground with required security clearance from California City to Palmdale to George Air Force Base, Victorville, through underground cities and tunnels where aliens have been seen all over the place, having free access to the underground network. Yet these aliens have been known to abduct or even kill some who have reported their presence there, because the alien tunnels where the aliens have been seen are all over. Presence of aliens operate inside our government. Okay, sorry. Via military-industrial Trojan horse, which operates largely outside the congressional oversight. And they do not want their subversive activities to be discovered by the masses or by more benevolent Space Force who are at war with these regressive alien forces. These regressive aliens attempt to create a facade of benevolence towards those programmed humans who work in the underground facilities, or use fear, intimidation towards those who are aware of their true intentions. Reports of abduction and dissections of humans abound, reportedly with a purpose of finding weakness and learning how to control us through controlling the social infrastructure upon which most have become dependent. Yucca Mountain, California, reports of underground tunnels descending several miles beneath the mountain. Now we are done with California. California is a large one, but now we are jumping to Canada, Ontario. Alfred Scatting of Toronto, sole survivor of the 1936 Moose River mine disaster, insisted that right before the disaster occurred, he saw a light swinging 2 feet above the ground in a side shaft where no one else was supposed to be. And following the collapse, he and Dr. Eddie Robinson, who did not survive until rescue, heard for the space of 24 hours sounds of shouting and laughter, as of little people having fun. Now we're jumping back to California. Santa Rosa, California, underground FEMA facility. Canada, west of Ottawa, Canada, is reportedly a location of an alien project test center, huge facilities for U.S. and Canadian military corps. The research center provides projects and storage for Area 51 of Dreamland. This site is also involved in an ongoing battle with Alien Collective that has succeeded in infiltrating much governmental military complex sold out by the industrialists, fraternal and intelligence agencies. Some point U.S. Canada forces are apparently resisting the takeover. Infiltration, assimilation on one hand, and attempting to buy time via further appeasement on the other in order to develop defensive technology. However, in making technology deals, technology and intellect of these aliens, combined with their mothership, a source, Sorry, it's very small writing, so I apologize. This will be a little easier. There will be a glare on these glasses. These are my bifocals, so I do apologize. Infiltration and assimilation on one hand, attempting to buy time via further appeasement on other in order to develop defensive technology. However, in making technology deals or attempts to appease the collective, they have only succeeded in being drawn deeper into the system of the occult, technological control, since they're able to only develop technological and intellectual partially at most in that technology and intellect of the aliens, combined with their mastership of sorcery and supernatural warfare, has made the battle futile, except for those who have succeeded in acquiring the supernatural power directly from the Creator that is necessary to meet and defeat the aliens in the supernatural realm, and in turn the intellectual and technological infrastructure of the alien collective, which is incarnated, motivated, and empowered and organized by the Luciferian entities behind the scene. Holy shit. In this war, the chaplain is the equal, if not greater value than the general, considering the aliens attacked humankind on a spiritual, mental, and physical level. So what they are saying is these aliens under Canada are Luciferian, and like what a couple days ago I was talking about how I truly believe that some of these portals lead to hell. And just the other day, yesterday, I think I had made mention of someone said that my research is being bogged down by my belief of a biblical, but even this is even older than the Bible. So demons and angels had been, long before humans, demons and angels existed. So these things are, aliens are demons, essentially, is what that just said. I'm just going to list a few. Schaeferville, Canada. Southern Canada. Blanca Peak, Colorado. Blanca Peak is located in mysterious San Luis Valley of Colorado, which has been a hotspot for UFO sightings, animal mutilations. Also, southwestern tribes have legends involving caverns below Mount Blanca, San Luis Lakes, and Great Sand Dunes National Monument region, through which their ancestors migrated during time of surface natural disasters before emerging onto the surface once again. There have been some rumors of attempted government attack upon the underground alien or gray base using deadly nerve agents which backfired or failed. Blanca Peak is located between Alamoso and Wallaceburg. That was by Stephen Greer. Colorado Springs, Colorado. Cheyenne Mountain. We know about Cheyenne Mountain. Cheyenne Mountain is the headquarters for NORAD. There has been a lot of weird noises since I've been narrating this. Like, no one is home at my house tonight when I'm narrating this. It is 1 a.m. And I'm telling you, I have the creepiest feeling. I'm downstairs in my downstairs studio, and I have had the creepiest feeling since starting this. I don't know if it has anything to do with this or what. But yeah, not cool. Colorado Springs, Colorado, Creed, Colorado. Colorado, Denver, beneath the Denver International Airport, east of Denver, which is filled with Masonic murals, symbolism, and rumors of involvement of German secret societies. There exist several restricted underground levels, at least 10 sublevels, a 4.5 square mile underground city, and an 88.5 square mile underground base, according to Phil Schneider, who helped in constructing of certain portions of this and several others of 131 underground New World Order military bases, which are on average 1 mile deep and connected by a magneto levitation or mag-level monorail train capable of reaching speeds of Mach 2. Denver Underground reportedly harbors vast containment camps and fenced-in areas deep underground with barbed wire facing inward as if to keep someone in rather than out. Tunnels and high-tech runway and 5 buildings that were constructed and later buried. Tram-like tunnels with sprinkler pipes overhead at intervals 5 to 6 feet, a 40-foot shaft leading to a constructed area. Other workers who managed to find their way down into the deeper levels where they saw things so frightening they refused to talk about it. Reports of negative vibrations in the underground areas, reports of ghost-like figures, several terraced areas that go down into the earth, a restricted biohazard area, and even one report of child labor and unspeakable horrors in deeper alien-controlled levels. But relocation centers for joint Illuminati, alien, New World Order. What FEMA camps underground to house the human race as slaves or test subjects for these aliens. Just like when they created all those, that huge containment area in Alaska. You know, I mean, that thing is huge. No one talks about that anymore. That's kind of weird, because like 2 years ago, that was hot, talking about that Alaskan containment camp, and it was just absolutely enormous. And now no one talks about it. It's crazy how people forget things. You know, it's like with these Dogman photos and, you know, videos. You get that some fake video or fake photo that comes up, you know, that one with the hoof or the paw, and it's a sea otter, but they only got the picture of the paw. It's good for like a couple months. Every 2 years, it'll resurface, freak a bunch of people out, then it goes away. Then for some reason, 2 years later, people are like, holy shit again. But unlike that, which is, I mean, not very important, how are we forgetting about these bases, these containment camps that are being created? Makes no sense. Elizabeth, Colorado, Ute Mountain Indian Reservation. John Lear claimed to have met the late father of a man who once worked at Dulce, New Mexico base, who was part of a failed insurrection that occurred among scientists who did not agree with the atrocities being carried out by military alien collaboration. Thereafter, the Dulce Wars ended with even stronger alien consolidation in this and other joint interaction base. Several surviving scientists were taken captive to other outlying facilities, as was in the case with the son of the late Mr. K, who John Lear knew, who was reportedly being held in an underground facility beneath Sleeping Ute Mountain in the extreme southwestern corner of Colorado. Walsenburg, Colorado, Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne is reportedly the site of a joint interaction underground base connected to the Dulce facility. East Haddam, Connecticut. Strange subterranean thundering noise phenomenon has been reported since 1722, and even before by the natives, centering near Mount Tom and especially Cave Hill, 6 miles northwest of Leesville. Crete. A legend about Ming Minas of Crete, who commissioned his architect Dalidas to construct a labyrinth so ingeniously devised that even the builder could not find his way out without the plan. In the center lived a minotaur, half man, half bull, to whom the Greeks, according to the legend, sent 7 youths and 7 maidens as a tribute every 9 years, until the warrior Theseus slew the creature and found his way out again with a ball of thread given to him by Aradane. All right. Oh, this is a little smaller. Delaware Bay. Cairo, Egypt, 500 feet below the base of the Great Pyramid, a secret team reportedly discovered a metallic door operated via sonic code, behind which a room over 30,000 recording discs and alien equipment. The discs were deciphered and reveal the rise and fall of the ancient civilization. Over 2,700 recorded discs were photographed with infrared film. The Egyptian government would not allow these discs to be taken from the chamber, as well as photographs of other strange equipment stored in 3 levels. According to an Air Force contact, the photo plates are sitting in a safe at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. Another Cairo, El Trina Gabel, Egypt. Bill Cox describes his visit to the ruins of Trina Gibel, or the ruins of El Tuna Gable in the temple of Edfu between Luxor and Cairo, according to another source where he observes a large horizontal shaft in the wall 8 feet above the floor. One of the guides told him that expeditionary forces several decades before had explored this passage and had followed the tunnel for several days without finding the end. Having run out of candles, torches, and markers, fearing they would become lost if they proceeded any further. Some allege that below Giza Plateau is an immense cavern in which the black monks of the NSA, Aryan humanoids from Sirius, reptoids from Alpha Draco, and Greys from the Regal Orion Collaborate, as part of the ancient empire, which is driven underground following the loss of the ancient war between Orion and Sirius A over who would control the Egyptian ruling elite. The cult is not only the one that is supposed to have backed the Nazis, but has also infiltrated controls behind the scenes. Liverpool, England, a complex maze of underground tunnels underneath the city, London, a dark 7-foot tall creature was observed by workers in London's New Victoria Tube. Staffordshire, England, 1770, a laborer moved a large flat stone he encountered in a field while digging a trench, beneath which he discovered a descending stone staircase, which he followed deep within the earth. Finding that the staircase switched back now and then until he emerged into a large underground chamber several hundred feet below, that was filled with strange objects and several objects, large machines, and illuminated by a strange, ever-luminous sphere, which revealed a man on the throne-like chair, dressed in a hooded robe. Westminster, England. Miami, Florida. Underground genetic breeding facility with several mature and young girls being held captive by alien greys, used to breed a hybrid slave labor race that is intended to infiltrate the surface society and do the bidding of the New World Order. Paris, France. Young female physician tells of a terrifying experience of being abducted from the bottom of an elevator, taken into the caverns where she was, along with other human females, tortured by cannibalistic beast men. These are not humans, they're cannibalistic beast men, much like what is described underneath. A few months later, the beastmen were suddenly attacked and killed by a pale-skinned human who wore gray metallic uniform. They spoke French with a strange accent and took the women survivors to a medical vehicle that was parked nearby the tunnel. She was later taken back to Paris, being led up through a maze of tunnels that intersected the Parisian sewers. She learned that the pale-skinned men were connected to the Space Alliance, which is there to observe the coming war between the surface armies and these beastmen in captivity. Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Douglas, Georgia, Marietta, Georgia. A planned underground Pentagon facility below Canada Mountain, a few miles from Dobbins Air Force Base, to be used as a defense installation for the surrounding 13-state region, which was reported by Richard Sutter, Thomasville, Georgia, Germany, Trier, Germany. So I'm going to kind of skip ahead because there is a lot. I was reading the Trier, Germany one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in Guatemala. Idaho, Burley, Idaho. A demonic race. Oh, this is interesting. This is what I'll do. So what I'll do from now until, instead of reading them all, I'll name each one, but then if there's something very interesting that fits into what we talk about here all the time, I will. So, Burley, Idaho. Druggist George Haycock claimed to have explored a shaft that could be entered via a boulder strewn depression or sink 6 miles west of Burley and 1 mile off the main road, presumably in the opposite direction from the river. Native American legends told of a demonic race that would emerge from the cave, capture their women and children. Haycock reported psychic attacks and impressions of evil activities taking place underground. The shaft led to a long square cut, yet ancient horizontal crawl space tunnel that branching tunnels and cave-ins which he attempted to dig through, although experiencing unusual resistance in doing so. He later wrote friends that someone was trying to blast the shaft closed with dynamite, and also reported a death threat he received in the mail telling him to cease and desist his explorations. Shortly after this, he was found strangled to death in his home. Holy shit. Chicago, Illinois. Benares, India. There's a sealed door engraved with serpents underground. Kashmir, India. Mayo County, Ireland. Station Island, Ireland. This is interesting. An old legend tells of a knight, Owen, visited the cave in Station Island, leading to an underground plane back in 1153, where he met monks who warned him the temptations ahead. The knight travels to the black icy realm and also sulfurous pits of molten metal, wicked suffering, finally arriving at an earthly paradise below earth. Kashmir. Pikeville, Kentucky. Strange disappearances in a truck coal mine 3 miles east of town. 2 boys seen entering the mine disappear even though their lamps found abandoned at the entrance. Full-scale search of the mine fails to turn up any evidence of the boys. Pineville, Kentucky. Mine explosion in 45, trapping several men. When they were rescued, some of the men insisted they saw a door in one of the walls open and a man dressed as a lumberjack emerged from a well-lighted room. After assuring the men that they would be rescued, the strange visitor returned to the room and closed the door. Other similar accounts have been reported during similar mine disasters. Some have been seen as lumberjack or telephone linemen. Riverton, Kentucky. UFO spoke of a mountain near Riverton where UFOs had been seen coming in and out of them. Salem, Kentucky is Hodge's Cave. Some believe the cavern mentioned in John Uri Lloyd's book, Edorphia, which illustrated a veteran Mason. Witnesses have stated that they have seen Masons wandering in the area. Stoven's Cave, Kentucky. Unusual sounds coming from a cave there. Tazewell County, Kentucky. Devil's Slide Cave is avoided by locals, convinced of a loathsome creature. Kenya, African village, according to Brad Steger, sat at the base of a so-called sacred peak of Mount Kenya. Numerous UFOs have been sighted over the years. Lali Thindu and his shepherd companions listened to several nights pounding of drums in distant villages announcing an upcoming wedding, but they were startled when bright beams flashed from soaring lights. Fort Polk, Louisiana. Reports of over 19,000 war-ready United Nations organization troop, French, Pakistani, and Russian, along massive underground facilities for storage and military and other supplies. Holy shit. Valletta, Malta. Crofton, Maryland. Fort Meade, Maryland. Cavernous subterranean expanses existing beneath the National Security Agency. So you've got in Fort Meade, where the NSA headquarters is, there is a subterranean expanse with over 10 acres of sophisticated supercomputers. Onley in Laytonsville, Maryland. Located on Riggs Road off of Route 108 is an underground facility that is maintained by FEMA. Long lines of cars have been seen heading through a gate at the shift change in spite of surface illusion of vacancy and disrepair. Vehicles which pass through this electronic surveillance appear and disappear behind a knoll in near distance, at least 10 levels deep, and several electromagnetic surveillance facilities with possible NSA connection. Thurmont, Maryland. See Blue Ridge Summit, Pennsylvania. Boston, Mass. Maynard, Mass. Another underground FEMA facility storage. Mexico's interior. A Californian tells of his enchanted caves where several men were killed and or disappeared after making contact with a large man standing over 3 men's height, so a Nephilim, next to a naked midget. Several of the men tried to fire their guns at these 2 creatures with all of the guns jamming. So you've got these in the interior of Mexico, a enchanted cave or caves, and there's a huge Nephilim with a naked midget, and a bunch of guys with guns shoot, but their guns jam and they die. That sucks. Acambaro, Mexico. A stone staircase leading into the earth is found. Mexico City. Some magnetic traps. Keeps going. Mexico, Sonora. And Battle Creek, Michigan. Underground FEMA. Redwood Falls, Minnesota. Cameron, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri. Somewhere in Missouri River near Kansas City, a man explored a cave in the side of a steep embankment somewhere on the river's edge. He was terrified by a tall creature with a cat or lizard-like eyes, who apparently was living in the cave or possibly had come from the river itself. Arizona, Nevada, Hoover Dam, Lake Mead. Boulder Dam, Nevada. Eureka, Nevada. Mercury, Nevada. Once again, I'm just naming them and not reading every bit and piece because we'd be here forever like last time. What is this noise that I keep hearing? Guys, I am dead serious. Like I said probably, 45 minutes ago? I keep hearing these, no one is at my house. And it sounds like someone's walking upstairs. And I have narrated down here many times, and I'm just narrating this stuff, and I'm getting really weird, chilling, I don't know. It's probably in my head. Nevada City, strange noises. Reno, an underground Nazi anti-gravity disk facility tied to the Antarctic scenario. Northern Jersey, strange noises and pulsating sounds. Brookhaven, see Newark. Newark, New Jersey, massive German Thule Society infiltration of the American military-industrial complex following World War II. via NSA, ITT, ARCO, and Exxon, led to the construction of a massive joint alien fascist underground complex stemming from the Nazi alliance with the alien collaboration based under the Giza Plateau, via the Grand Orient Lodge of Egyptian Freemasonry, and the various Gnostic Bavarian cults that were brought back from Egypt during the Egyptian occupation of the armies of the so-called Holy Roman Empire. Excuse me. That's weird that you'd have a base or some sort of facility under Newark, New Jersey, like Nazi and Egyptian connections. Like, this is why this is so interesting, and it connects it all. Like, so far, in all of these bases and stuff, we've Nephilim, strange midget-like creatures, dogmen, cat-like creatures, lizard-like creatures, and more. Here's another New Jersey Paramus, another Nazi-connected New Jersey thing. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Menanzo Mountain of Kirtland Air Force munition storage was excavated by the Air Force to serve as a nuclear weapon storage. The mountain is visible a couple of miles south of I-40, eastern outskirts of Albuquerque. Security is extremely tight. UFOs and grays have been seen in deep levels. A 285,000 square foot underground extension facility was constructed. That is absolutely huge. Dulce, obviously we know Dulce. But the Hokara Apache Indian believe that their ancestors emerged from the caverns in ancient times, almost like the Hopi. The Hopi were said to come out of these caverns, and these Apache as well, which is just amazing. When they emerged, they were plagued by monsters. Some wanted to go back down, but once their heroes slew all of the monsters, all was at peace. Ironically, the Dulce Underground Network is now reportedly under control of some of these very monsters and reptilians. Here's more on Dulce, which I've covered everything that they're saying in this one. Actually, this is interesting. I've never... In the town of Dulce, New Mexico, 1 block from Pan Am Building is an old high school, now used as an engineering facility by Macon and Hanger, originally the Zia Group. Inside the facility is an elevator that leads to level 1 massive underground facility beneath Dulce, known as Ultra or Section D, which runs underneath Main Street at the depth of about 200 feet. This level is guarded by Pro-Force security, whereas deeper and more secure levels under the Archuleta Mesa to the north containing automatic devices designed to kill intruders. Dulce is by far the most massive and most strategic of all the bases and underground hubs. Guadalupe Mountains in New Mexico. Holy shit. 2 trappers in the 1800s reportedly finding a cave in Guadalupe Mountain, found considerable depth, hiding behind a large outcropping. They observe dark hooded creatures, reptilian creatures, with a 20-foot man-like creature coming out of the darkness from behind this rock outcropping with a crystal-like entity. So there's robed reptilians, a 20-foot giant, and a crystal-like entity descending from stalactites. Holy crap. Los Alamos, we all know about Los Alamos, massive underground joint military alien facility. Organ Mountains. Pie Town, New Mexico. Taos, New Mexico, reports of Native American legend stating that Montezuma was born near Taos and was instructed by beings who lived in Pueblo Peak, which is near Blue Lake, where UFOs have been seen entering and exiting the water near Taos, in a cave above the Lucero River, not far from Frioli's Canyon. Ancient and modern sacrifices were carried out. Members of the secret society groups in Taos have been found beheaded, like Arthur Manby, who told of a secret Aslan hot springs roughly northwest of Taos, flanked by petroglyphs and canyon walls. Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Manhattan, New York, there's 3, all talking about sub-levels under huge sub-levels under skyscrapers. Under Manhattan, under an Episcopalian church, a space warping technology. Lincoln Tunnel, New York. Man and wife traveling through winter snow parked their car in the Lincoln Tunnel to wipe the snow off their car and vanished without a trace. Montauk, we all know of Montauk. Rome, New York, which is just west of me about an hour and a half, I think. Large underground facility located in Rome. National Air Force Base is located. That's where the Montauk chair is located. Norway, Liddell, Norway. All right. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Oklahoma. Ada, Oklahoma. Joint Alien Military Underground Facility. Binger, Oklahoma. A malevolent serpent people dwell in caverns below. Also in a large mound, a haunted large mound. McAllister, Oklahoma, a bottomless pit or shaft. Oklahoma City. Talk about the federal building in Oklahoma City. Fort Rock Basin, Oregon. Portland, Oregon. These talk about nothing major, just deep underground bases, but nothing concerning. Panama. Talking about ocean bedrocks and stuff. Allegheny Mountains, Pennsylvania. Blue Ridge Summit. The location of the so-called underground Pentagon is in Blue Ridge Summit. Many fluorescent lights are there. This place has... if you've ever watched the interview with Lex Friedman and JFK Jr., or RFK Jr., sorry, JFK Jr., RFK Jr., he mentions this. He mentions Blue Ridge Summit. And he does talk about there's convenience stores, there's barber shops, there's a mall, there's a McDonald's. Dixonville, PA. Holy shit. Oh my God. Here we go. Mine Inspector Glenn E. Barger reported in 1944 to his superiors that Dixonville mine disaster, which killed 15 men, was not the result of a cave-in, but rather an attack by underground creatures capable of manipulating the earth, partial cave-ins, whose domain the miners had apparently penetrated. Most of the dead miners were not injured by fallen rocks, but showed signs of large claw marks. Others were missing. Survivors spoke of vicious humanoid creatures not of this world. Within an ancient passage the miners had broke through. The creature somehow created the cave-in, blocking himself and another inspector who closed his eyes when he felt the creature's hot breath on his neck from the main passage. Damn it. Here's New Kenningston, 4-foot tall creature walking on 2 legs, half humanoid, half dinosaur, seen by grown-ups and children. Pittsburgh. Peru. Talking about Saurian-like creatures or reptilian-like creatures. Puerto Rico. El Calu Mountain. Large tunnels. Another Puerto Rico. UFOs. Making contact with U.S. Navy forces. Russia. Olkminsk. Another Russia, an underground bunker. Ural Mountains. A mammoth underground. Oh shit. The Ural is where God, my brain just shut off completely. We all know Dyatlov Pass, Ural Mountains. Sorry, my brain just shut off. A mammoth underground military complex within the Urals, used for mining, repository for Russian treasures, food storage, a nuclear bunker. So is maybe that's what they stumbled upon. But there's that movie. There's a movie about the Dyatlov Path incident. And it is Hollywood movie, but it talked about these time traveling humanoid creatures that found an underground base. And now they're admitting that there's an underground base here. Yeah, that's kind of fucking weird. Scandinavia, Columbia, South Carolina. An underground facility under a Kmart parking lot in Columbia, South Carolina. Gaffney. Oh, excuse me. Hiccups. Gaffney, South Carolina. And we are almost done with Project Redbook. Gatlin, Tennessee. Alpine, Texas. Another mine. Talking about strange noises coming out of this mine in Alpine, Texas. Athens, Texas, joint military alien base. Dallas. Green-skinned humanoids contained in cages under Texas Instrument Plant. Shaver mystery experts were asked to enter caverns where small green-skinned creatures were found. Denton, Texas, underground FEMA. El Paso. Tunnel to Franklin Mountains, no further details. Fort Worth. Tibet, underground military base in Tibet. 1, 2, there's 2. Turkey, obviously we know in Turkey there's going to be. There's another one in Turkey. Arizona, Utah, AK warriors watching undercover secretive government movements. Southern Utah and northern Arizona by Government and Archaeological Department of Utah. They are mapping the Anasazi underground caverns and tunnel systems. Arizona, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico. Action had been taken. Alpine, Utah. Suburban legend involves a farmer near Alpine who solicited the help from some men to move a boulder. The boulder was moved only to reveal a tunnel leading downward. They descended the sloping tunnel, but came to a place where the progress was prevented by a giant serpent. In fear, they went back to the surface and sealed off the shaft with the boulder. Canyonlands National Park. Utah, the Druid Arch area is reportedly the site of a joint military base. Dogman, Utah, another underground connection. Little Cottonwood Canyon, some underground bases. They talk about some underground Mormon, LDS, and Masonic lodges. A Mt Shasta Mayan colony. I don't know why they're bringing Mt Shasta in. Salem Thistle, Reptilian, alien in a ghost town of Salem Thistle. We already looked at the Denver Airport, Salt Lake City Airport underground FEMA. Massive underground facility for cloning humans beneath the University of Utah. I heard that somewhere, actually. I don't remember where human cloning had been carried out at least since 1977. Where did I hear that from? Holy shit. There's a show called Tracker. And it's with the guy from like Green Arrow or something. But they actually, on season 1 of the show, he goes and visits his family member that works as a teacher at the University of Utah. And now you're talking about cloning people underneath this college since 77. Zion Canyon. Vietnam. We all knew there were tunnel systems and things underneath Vietnam. Bells Cove, Virginia. Blue Mount, Virginia. More government facilities featuring hospitals, cafeterias, and other shit like that. Good for the government because they love us so much that they don't care if we... Langley, at least 7 levels, underground facility of the CIA headquarters, some of which contain recovered alien hardware. Tazewell, Virginia. 6 miles southwest of Tazewell is Devil's Slide Cave, from which usual sounds have been heard. Supposedly there are troglodytes in that area, which are pharaoh-human, which I got to call DJ, because DJ's been contacting me for a while. Another Virginia, Station B in Warrenton, D.C. Obviously, they're going to be talking about the Masonic temples and deceit in Washington, D.C. Then we've got Washington State, Ellensburg, Fort Lewis in Washington State. Tacoma, Yakima, Washington. I've had subscribers reach out with experiences from Yakima. An alien base reportedly lies under the Yakima Indian Reservation. Braxton, Webster County, West Virginia. Point Pleasant, West Virginia. 7-foot tall reptilian human with a 10-foot wingspan. Mothman. White Sulphur Springs. Alright, so while I was looking at White Sulphur Springs, that's another government facility. Continuity of government, which is their safe spot in case anything bad happens to the United States. They're safe, we're not. Listen to this. Containing living quarters to house 800 people, meeting rooms, banks of computers, communication equipment, 250 miles southwest of Washington, the Allegheny Mountains, large dormitory, infirmary, shower facilities, television studio, phone booths, dining areas, and a power plant. But I kind of didn't see this. I quickly scanned it. Braxton, Webster County. The area bordered by Newville on the west, Hacker Valley on the south, Braxton and Webster counties contain many subsurface anomalies according to the late husband of British-Canadian Joan Howard, an abductee whose husband did survey work in the area. He told of strange caverns in the area with strange sounds of voices and machinery emerging from within, as beyond the walls, caves containing strange hieroglyphic writings, a pipe that stands out of the ground far from any industrial areas, and where is it? Right here. There's something that caught my eye. Here it is. A cavern with a deep chasm near which at least one man vanished from his sleeping bag at night outside of the entrance. So the guy is sleeping in his sleeping bag and just disappeared. And one cavernous labyrinth deep within which one man encountered a woman with no hair who spoke to him in an unknown language, yet being unable to understand him, she gave up and disappeared into the depths of the cave. Holy shit, that's creepy. So these are all of the strange facilities and or subterranean whatnot under the United States and the world. These are the ones that are documented. Project Redbook. It connects everything. And it connects a lot about, I'm just thinking about some of the attacks and disappearances that happened in Tazewell, Buchanan, Virginia, Mercer County, West Virginia. There's a lot of just real strange stuff. And we are just, I think being informed about all this keeps us a little safer. I mean, theoretically, are we safe? No. But at least we have the knowledge of it, which makes us a little bit safer, I think. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this very long upload, but you can see that it connects it all. It really does. And this is the stuff that our government is hiding from us. This is just one piece of their puzzle that, they don't want us to know about. So, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you, and I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is your support that keeps this channel growing and going, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Just simply treated with the respect we all deserve. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant. Keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless.